Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Eccentric Views. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, reviews, re-reviews, thought streams, commentaries, video game playthroughs, whatever the case may be, if you wish to do so, PayPal is the best way to do it. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box. I will try to get to as soon as I possibly can. Yes, it may be a bit of a wait, but I'm doing the best I can. That's why I'm uploading about 3-4 videos a day. So thank you for your patience. Thank you, Eccentric Views, for your kindness. I really do appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. And this time he wanted me to look at another fan cut he edited together, Rocky 5, the 1988 fan cut. Now I know you're saying, well, wait a minute, the film didn't come out in 1988. There's a reason why it's called that. I'll get to that in a few minutes. But before I get to the cut, my few thoughts on Rocky 5. Of the first 6, it is my least favorite. Maybe back to the day I hated the film. Nowadays, I find it tolerable. But did it ever need to be made? No. I mean, I could argue that Rocky 4, you could have ended the whole franchise there and would have been perfectly fine. Didn't need any more. As much as I like Rocky Balboa, and I do quite like Rocky Balboa, if it ended with Rocky 4, where he's the champion of the world and defeated the Cold War, I would have been fine with it, because Rocky 4 is my favorite. But instead, Stallone wanted to have another Rocky film. Some of his films were not doing well. Rambo 3, as much as I love it, it disappointed at the box office. Lock Up flopped, which I love that film. Over the Top bombed, which I like that film. Tango and Cash didn't do as well as it should, although I love that film. So a lot of his films were not doing that well. So go back to the well with Rocky. And his thought was, it's going to be more serious like the first one. Although I think Rocky 2, 3, and 4 are great. I like the first one, but I like Rocky 2, 3, and 4 more. So you got the director of the first film to do it, and at first they wanted Stallone was going to kill Rocky off, but then he changed his mind. But the director said we should stick with that. So yeah, this kind of back and forth. So again, the guy who directed it, he did Rocky 1, he did the Karate Kid, the Karate Kid Part 2, Karate Kid Part 3. And then it was kind of this weird bubble where it wants to be serious like the first film, but then it doesn't quite land on that. And watching it, it's an anomaly. Stallone, I think, gives one of his weaker performances of Rocky. They try to have him brain damaged, so that's why he's acting that way, but it just makes it seem as if he's pushing too hard for that accent that usually has a Rocky. Talia Shire has more to do than some of the sequels, I'll give you that. But it was depressing. Them losing all their money, losing all their finances, all the stuff we saw them build up in 2 and 3 and 4, just lose it all and go back to square one. That was a depressing story that people didn't really want to see. And they didn't want to see Rocky have brain damage. This is a story that people didn't want told. And then there's his son, played by his real-life son, who sadly has passed away. And Sage, I never minded his performance. There was always that weird thing that this takes place right after Rocky 4, and the son is one age, but then here he's aged a couple years. Even Sly admitted, yeah, that was a screw-up. Tommy the Machine Gun, I liked, but when you compare him to Mr. T, Dolph Lundgren, Carl Weathers, those are big shoes to fill, and he just could not do it. Really, nobody has since then, but I liked him. May he rest in peace. I know he passed away, I believe, of AIDS, but I think his character was pretty underdeveloped. I mean, I like George Washington Duke. I always forget the actor's name. Richard Gant, who was in Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. He's the guy, the coroner that ate the heart. Touch me and I'll sue. He's a lot of fun. Of course, he's trying to be Dantine, because Dantine was a big thing at the time. But, having more rap, I don't think that really helped with the music, the soundtrack. And I was trying to be more hip by doing that. And some of the songs I don't mind, like Go For It, but it just, I don't know. It's not my favorite of mine. My favorite is Measure of a Man at the End by Elton John. I do love that song. But yeah, it's just, sometimes his son, the way the tear's written, like you understand why he's angry, but then at times it just seems whiny. But you get, to me, the much better version of this movie is the work print version. Does the work print version, it adds a little bit of substance to certain scenes. There's certain other takes that I thought were better takes than the ones they used. And I thought the work print gave a bit more of that serious feeling compared to the theatrical cut. So I do think the work print version, which I believe I did review that, so if you want to check out, go to my channel, just type in Rocky 5, and I did more in depth. This is about the work print version, this is about this fan cut, so. Rocky 5 is just one of those movies that just, very flawed, and always I have a lot of issues with. Now, this cut, I'm just going to read what he says, and then I'll get into my thoughts on it. This is what this cut is. And actually, let me read it from the top. By the way, it's called 1988 because Rocky films usually came out 3 years after the last one. So think of Rocky 2 was 79, 81, 82. 1982, Rocky 3. 1985, Rocky 4. So if it kept that pattern, it was a bit more like an 80s movie, then technically it would have been 1988. But of course it didn't and all that stuff. But that's kind of the fun thing he put into it, which I can see why, so that's why. Plus, it's him replacing the 90s hip-hop music with the 80s pop music, which I prefer. Many fans take issue with the fact Rocky's son aged too fast from the previous film. In my cut, I introduce him later in the film, giving the illusion that more time has passed. Granted, I mean, with the time that has passed, that's not his fault, it's the movie. It still seems like only like a month has passed, or 2 or 3 months have passed. So eventually, no matter what, when you get the kid in there, he's still going to look many years older. So even if it's just like a year went by, it's like, damn, he jumped a lot, but anyway. Also in the edits, I leave Rocky's brain damage diagnosis more ambiguous. Previous Rocky films were made 3 years apart. Rocky 5 was the first one to be made 5 years after the previous. So I tell him Rocky 5 implanted that it was made 3 years after Rocky 4 in 1985. These are the changes he made. Cut the scene Rocky gets off the plane in the press conference. And that's also when he says he's going to, I think his wife says he's going to retire and all that stuff. Edit the scene where Rocky arrives home and gets out of limo. Edit so you don't see Rocky's son. Cut the scene Rocky puts his son to bed. Edit the scene where Adrian finds out they lost their money. Edit so Rocky's son is not seen. In the meantime, Rocky's lawyers, I edited Rocky's dialogue so no mention of Kane and Duke because they haven't been introduced yet. Because he edited the scene when they got off the plane, and that's where you saw Duke and Kane at first. Now, before we go on, there's more. The editing of the son, honestly, it just makes the cut seem a bit more awkward. Because in having to do so, it just goes from fade out, fade in, to black. So within the span of 5 minutes early on, it's fade to black, then fade out, then fade into black. And then like a couple minutes later, fade out, fade into black. So it just seems a bit awkward. So your mind just knows something is missing. And because cutting the son out when we're supposed to care about his story later on, it's not really as potent because he hasn't been in the film as much. So his story, his plight doesn't seem as important Because in this cut, so I mean, I don't know. I get the idea behind it, but I don't know if cut in the sun really. I think it hinders more than helps. I get it, but I mean, there's just no way to fix it. I think to me, there's no way to fix it. There's no way to fix it. It's a losing battle to try to fix it. But I mean, some people don't like his son. That's the thing. I know there's some people that have seen the film, they do not like the son character at all. So if you liked Rocky 5 and your issue was the son, here you go. Here's a cut that cuts some of his stuff out. Some may prefer it that way. Again, there's a lot of people who do not like his performance. I don't mind it, but some who's all Sage, he was a bad performance. If you feel that way, then maybe this cut would be more for you as well. Edit, I turned the scene where Rocky leaves Andy's bar into a 1.5 minute montage with song All We Got by Michael McDonald showing clips. This is the one edit I did not like because it just comes off as random. Where these scenes, like all of a sudden he's at the plane getting off it because that was a scene earlier cut out, so he's put in here, then this bit, then this bit, this bit. And it just came off as kind of random. And also I just don't like the song, All We Got. I don't know, I've never heard that song before. I can see why. I don't like the song. I mean, maybe I would have preferred, like, I don't know, Stand in the Fire, you know, from Youngblood or something else. I don't know. But All We Got, I just wasn't bait on. And if not that song, then maybe something else. I don't know. That song didn't really do much for me. So, and like I said, the clips just seem very random. Cut the scene where Rocky walks his son to school. In the scene where Tommy first approaches, I muted Rocky's dialogue so there's no mention of his son. Added street noises. 21 minutes in, I insert the subway clip that introduced Rocky's son. Now, I will say to very much commend Eccentric Views on the way he edited the songs in there. I think he did a standout job. Whether it be Bill Conti's music playing when Rocky's son gets punched, or then when his son gets revenge on that bully, he adds Conquest, which I thought was a cool choice because like father, like son. Rocky fighting, you have that Conquest music. Here, Rocky's son getting revenge on the bully. Especially in the montages where Go For It, he changes to Break the Ice. And in the other one, he Keep It Up, he changes to Thunder in Your Heart. I really commend him on those montages because I don't know how he did it, but he made it where he took the song out, able to replace the song, but also keep the sound effects, the voices, and all the other stuff. Because sometimes it'd be like, okay, you gotta try to take that song out, but you're lowering the sound effects. Then you place the song over it and it's like, well, I don't know how to do that. That seems really cool to do. If I do a fan track, I do the lazier way where, yeah, you hear it, but then you hear bits of the other song like softly underneath it because it's not quite covered. Not the case here. You don't hear anything of the previous song. Like, it's a very expert job where he took the song out, put the new song in, and you still have the voices, the dialogue, all at a even playing field naturally, like it would in the film in general. So I thought he did a really good job with that. And yeah, Break the Ice and Thunder in Your Heart, they worked so well in a Rocky, even in this film, they work. They fit perfect in a Rocky movie. So that's, to me, the best part of this cut is that. Same with adding Bill Conti's music contrast when Rocky's son beats the bully. The second montage replaces song Keep It with Thunder. Again, I love Thunder in Your Heart. It's one of my favorite songs. That's streamed to be in a Rocky film, so cool that it's in this. Scene where Rotti and his son are arguing in the basement. I cut Rotti's son's dialogue saying, "You should have watched out." This is reference from the conversation in the scene that I cut. In the street fight between Rotti and Timmy. The beginning of the fight is still the same music-wise. It's just later on when they start doing the Keep It Up, he put Thunder in Your Heart. Then when Rotti's getting dizzy, he puts Conquest. And that fit perfectly. Because in Rotti 5, they have music that's kind of like the cue to Conquest, but not quite, and just didn't sound as good. So to put the actual Conquest, when Rotti's doing the punches, da-da, 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 it fits perfectly. So I do like that choice, that change. In the final scene, I blurred out the 1990 on the museum building, keeping the illusion that it's set in 1988, not 1990. So yeah, I would say if you want to cut the film that is shorter, that does have less of Rotti's son in it, that changes the music to more of an 80s feel, which I think for me worked better for Rotti than the rap stuff. It's still gonna have, the issues Rotti 5 had to begin with. I mean, there's no way to change that. There's a bit, I don't know what it was, at 43 minutes and 44 seconds. I wrote this down. 43 minutes, 44 seconds. There's some weird sound that sound like a squeal or a loud noise. I mean, you go to 43 minutes and 43 seconds to have a precursor to it, but at 43 minutes, 44 seconds to repeat, there's some weird sound like ding. I'm not even going to try it because I'll fuck up my voice. But I don't know if it's like edited or something. It's like this loud chee. For a split second, I'm like, is that a fucking donkey? No, of course not, but I was just so weird, like loud out of the blue sound that just, where the hell did that come from? Maybe that's just me, but yeah, when you do with the two montages, however you did that, man, like you really do replace the music, but you kept all the punches, all the dialogue sounding perfectly natural. Huge credit to that, because to me that's tough to do, and he did it, and that's really cool. So, like I said, the film itself, I don't know if you could ever truly fix it unless someone found the warp print and made it the entire thing in high def quality, and then maybe work around that warp print version. Maybe. But again, it's a story that I don't think needed to be told to begin with. But this cut was interesting. Like I said, I love these type of fan cuts. I'm very curious about these fan cuts. I find them very interesting. I find them very intriguing to see how things change. Like I said, I got a kick out of the song changes. That worked very well. And also is cool is that when he does this montage, Thunder in the Heart has the lyrics, but when he brings it back, it's the instrumental version. I thought that was a nice choice. I thought that was a nice note to use the instrumental version later on. And overall, it was interesting to watch. I gotta say, it was interesting to watch. Especially when it's a film like Rotti 5 that's flawed. To see what people do with it. Just if it was a film that you love and enjoy, it's like, don't fix what's not broken. But here, the movie's very broken. So to see someone try to do stuff with it, it's definitely a lot of good intentions. So it was fun to see. Now, these changes I mentioned, it is under his video. I'll put a link down to the video as well, if you want to read the info box for yourself. So I'll try to have his channel video, the video, where is that? The Dropbox if you want to download it, and then the stuff from me if you want to send in a paid request or stuff. So I just got to remember that in my head. So definitely worth a look for those who like fan cuts. Thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.